started off making memes. Now I help run the ambassador program with Jenny, which is one of our wonderful ambassadors. Got this space started, and I like hiding how much money I have from the government. So I'll pass it on to Godson.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Godson. I'm also part of the team. I help with managing the community and helping find some collaborations and some other stuff. I'm also just like an ancient personality in the space, so it's just kind of fun and good to be here. And I remember when Zcash launched and everything, and I remember like the 7 BTC per Zcash days and everything. So it's just great to be here and see the ecosystem just kind of chugging along and still innovating and stuff. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Guillaume.
Sorry,
Okay.
maybe to the office. Hello, everyone. My name is Guilherme, and I am the community artist. Also started as an ambassador, and to make today's poll up, I don't think I can share it here today because we don't have the image integrations like X. And it's a real pleasure having Zcash and ZHub here today. I met the team last year in Rio de Janeiro, and wonderful people that I'm excited to see them all here. I wasn't expecting to be on a panel today. I was already washing the dishes. Well, I'll pass it on to Jenny.
Sorry about that, Guillermo. I know it is a little bit late in Europe, but thanks for being here. Thanks, team. And now our lovely guests from the Zcash team or ZecHub team. We've got Squirrel in the house and possibly some other guests, but I can't tell because all the usernames are different now that we're on talk. So Squirrel, come on up. And then if there's anyone else from your side who needs to intro, bring them up too.
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Squirrel. I run the program ZecHub, and we're a nonprofit education hub for Zcash. We do tutorials and graphic design work and web development and a lot of fun stuff. We hold activities and events in Discord and other platforms. And yeah, I'm pretty excited today. I'm actually very happy to be here with all of the BAT team, all of the brave people. You've been super kind. I think we've got Decentralist Dan here with us, and he can join.
Yeah, thanks, Squirrel.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Decentralist Dan. I work at the Zcash Foundation as the Ecosystem Relations Manager and member of the ZecHub DAO and small contributor over there. And yeah, I'm excited to be here, excited to see these two communities come together, and actually kind of happy that we ended up here in Brave Talk. So looking forward to the conversation. Thank you.
Oh, yay. We're so excited too. Yeah, we're really happy that y'all are here and that everyone was super flexible and moved on over to Brave Talk with us. So Squirrel, Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about your backgrounds? Like what led you to ZecHub and Zcash, and what did you do before, and how'd you wind up here? Maybe Squirrel start?
Yeah. Well, I studied engineering in university. Um, I was always pretty interested in like computer networking and stuff. So I'm not really a developer. I came in by doing community notes for the research and development calls at uh, the Zcash research, well, R&D calls. So I'd like summarize what happens during their talks and present them to the community. And it was around the time that I joined that ZecHub was formed, this educational project. Um, because, yeah, really the types of technology that are used, like in shielded transactions, they can be like quite complex. And so I was brought on board onto ZecHub to try and like simplify things, make them accessible and understandable, so that people are like interested in it and willing to use it. Right? I think with complicated technology, it can kind of be quite frightening, like a frightening prospect. Um, but the good thing about Zcash is, although it's complex, it's very, very easy to use. Anyway, I was brought onto ZecHub, and I am now like leading efforts along with it's a DAO, so there's, I believe, 16 members of the community who vote on various things, projects that we do, and yeah, it's a fun group of people. I'll pass it over to Dan.
Yeah, been in crypto since 2017, and kind of was always watching Zcash and became a community member 2018, 2019, and then really started ramping up and getting more involved. Prior to working at the foundation, I did about a decade in broadcast television, and switched over to working full time in the Zcash space. Um, yeah, was excited to see ZecHub come to fruition and join there when it launched. And it's just been amazing seeing ZecHub grow and be such a staple in the Zcash community. Um, yeah, I think that's a quick little background for me.
That's awesome. Thank you guys both for that great context. And Squirrel, I really like the way that you summarized your role as, that you were brought on to simplify things and make them accessible and make people want to use Zcash and make it less frightening. I think that every highly technical project should hire people specifically for that purpose because it is so important for onboarding. But anyway, that's all great background. Thank you all so much. And I want to ask you all about ZecHub, but before we get there, are you guys able to answer some background questions about Zcash itself?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, great. So Zcash was born out of the electric coin company. And I believe the company has played a pretty critical role in advancing the technology and adoption of Zcash since its inception and continues to do so to this day. Can you tell us a bit more about Zcash's origin story?
hmm yes. So it comes from Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin fork or a clone of Bitcoin. And so you can expect that it's a UTXO coin, right? So it's not like Ethereum or Avalanche or Solana, which use accounts and smart contracts. This is more similar to Bitcoin, which just takes inputs and creates outputs, right? So it's you can think of it as a payments coin, right? Um, so yeah, it was a fork of Bitcoin, and they added a very special feature to it, which is the shielded pool. Okay, so in 2016, this was the first of its kind, the first zero knowledge application to exist in the world. So this is the first time that private, uh, fully anonymous transactions were possible on the blockchain. So previous projects. Like there were attempts by Monero, which used decoy systems and all of this, but zero knowledge is really you could think of it as the gold standard of making private transactions on chain. So in 2016, the Sprout pool was launched, and this was quite an unwieldy type of shielded transactions that people would be generating. It needed 4 GB of RAM, and it took like 10 minutes to generate the transaction, and it had to be done on a laptop. So although privacy, like you could get privacy by using Sprout, it was very slow um, and it wasn't ready for the public yet. Um, in 2018, the sapling pool was launched, and this is the first time that people were actually able to generate these shielded transactions on a mobile phone, an Android device, or an iPhone, and it would be like 2 seconds to generate the transaction. So now we're in Orchard, so the technology has progressed even further, but that's kind of where it came from.
That is a pretty incredible background. I actually didn't know a lot of that. Can you elaborate on the zero knowledge protocols that Zcash utilizes and maybe break down what zero knowledge is for people who may not be familiar and how Zcash employs it?
Sure. So there are three shielded pools on Zcash. There's the Sprout pool, um, which launched in 2016. There's the Sapling pool, which launched in 2018. And there is now the Orchard pool, which was launched in 2022. So the Sprout pool used Groth 16. So this is a proof generation. It's a proof system. And a zero knowledge proof, like I was explaining with Bitcoin, um, when Bitcoin transactions are generated, it takes inputs and it produces outputs, right? So you take all the coins that you have and you take a handful of them. Let's say in your Bitcoin wallet you have 5 coins. Okay, so you'll take two of them and you'll make two of the coins the output, and you'll receive or sorry, your input transaction will be the full 5 coins. The outputs will be the payment of 2 coins to your counterparty, and the other output will be the return of the 3 coins to your own wallet. Okay, so it's inputs and outputs. Now, the revelation by Satoshi was to create a peer-to-peer payment system in which the monetary supply was sound, and its soundness would be proved by the transparency of the ledger itself. So everyone could tell in every single transaction that no coins are being created out of thin air, because you can see the inputs match the outputs minus the fees. So of course this is a very interesting system. I could go into why this system might be doomed to failure, right? So, when you have a fully transparent ledger, it actually causes some problems to do with like censorship resistance and permissionlessness. Um, like you can get third parties, like analysis firms, which are monitoring all of these inputs and outputs from everyone, and they're tracing the source of coins. And when that happens, you kind of create a tiered system where some coins are worth more than others. And this actually begins to erode the network itself. Anyway, Bitcoin has these inputs and output system. Drew says interesting. Um, and so what zero knowledge does is it says what a zero knowledge proof is you're proving that you're creating a valid transaction. So you're proving that you know the inputs which are coming into the transaction. You're proving that you're able to spend the amount that you say that you can, um, but you're not revealing any of this information on chain. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense.
Yeah.
And this was conceived, I believe, by a group of scientists at MIT and Johns Hopkins and some other respected academic and scientific institutions. Is that right? And if so, who are some of these folks?
Yeah, I think Ian Myers and Brian. Um, well, the names escape me.
Iran Tromer,
Yeah,
yeah, Ian Myers, Matthew Green. Um, I forgot her first name, but Garmin. She's on the board of ECC. I forgot her first name. And then there's a couple other we're probably forgetting. Yeah, I think most of the folks were students under Matthew Green, though. Christina Garmin, yes. Thank you, Chris. And just one other piece of background, I guess, is that paper, originally was presented at a Bitcoin conference, I think in 2013 or 14, as a way to add on to Bitcoin. And when that didn't move forward, then we leap into the background that Squirrel had just given a bit ago.
right. So the original paper, Zero Coin, is slightly different from what was implemented in Zcash, which is actually Zero Cash. So Zero Coin, the initial implementation, which then went into Zcoin, is there would be there'd be what was Bitcoin, and people could send their coins into the shielded pool, and they would only be able to spend in like discrete amounts, so that you could only spend as like 0.5, 1, 5, 10. So this ability to spend only like in a few, you couldn't spend any arbitrary amount. This actually created some privacy flaws, and it was later found that zero coin itself had like several issues. So it was a good thing that it was probably a good thing that it was it was denied at the time because improvements were made.
Well, the best things come from mistakes, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the history of where Zcash came from. Um, what I'm kind of what I'm hoping to get across in our meeting today is like, um, what is what is Zcash going to provide for Brave users? And so, like Brave, at the beginning, Jenny was talking about like the private VPN. It protects people from cookies. We've got the private voice video calls, and like Brave is actually providing a lot of privacy for Web3 users and like people who don't even know anything about crypto. It's providing that privacy all the same. Um, and so, like the missing component, I think is that um, it's providing privacy in all these ways, but like the Brave wallet, most of the assets that people would be using are revealing a lot of people's financial data. And it's, I mean, you could say that that's probably the most important bit. That's the most important factor that needs to be protected. And so, like Zcash Orchard being introduced to the wallet perhaps this summer. Oh, someone's got their hand up.
Oh, I was going to let you finish, but if you were going, keep go ahead, and then I'll ask.
No, please continue.
So, okay, so basically, yeah, we're looking at kind of keeping things private on the, wallet side and the transaction side, right? Through Zcash. I guess, how do you, or what do you say to like the people like, Liz Warren that say crypto's just for, you know, illicit, uses and drugs and terrorism and stuff like that. And how does Zcash, not just harbor that kind of stuff? I guess with the privacy side of things.
Right. Yeah. So these things do exist, and what's important to remember is that they would probably exist regardless, and they exist. So I think um, the currency which is laundered the most is US dollars. Um, I would say that it's actually much more of a risk to ban on-chain privacy than it is to let it continue, because and it's actually a national security risk, which Elizabeth Warren should be aware of. If people's financial transactions are public for adversary states and for criminals, and we could kind of go into how this actually happens. If all of this finance sensitive data is made public and accessible on chain, um, it would probably lead to a lot more theft, a lot more national incidents than if people's transactions would be private. I also think it's important to remember that it's only until very recently that people's bank accounts and financial transactions, economic activity has been monitored to the fine-grained level that we're seeing recently. And I think it's like it's setting a very dangerous precedent if we can like allow it to continue.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I didn't want to get too off track. I was just interested in what your thoughts were on that, but I think you're right in a lot of ways. You got to kind of balance this, public and private and privacy kind of thing. So it's just an interesting take. So appreciate your answer on that. And I'll kind of let you continue. I guess what your focus you said on this call is kind of how Zcash can help, you know, keep the privacy on the transaction side of things. Was there anything else that you were really looking at?
Oh, I think Godson's got his hand up.
Yeah, thank you. So not to take things all the way back again, but if I remember correctly, like the reason, I mean, someone like me from the 2015 era was super excited about the projects was wasn't there something to do with Satoshi and Zuko and Zuko Wilcox and the rest of that? And that was my first question. My second question is, what is the state of like the competition? I mean, we all know about Monero and their sort of implementation of the whole like ring structure and everything. But like, is there truly like is there anyone else out there doing anything good on the privacy landscape?
Yes, good questions. Um, so yeah, to answer the first one, um, Satoshi did mention when he wrote, well, I think 4 months before he disappeared, he wrote on the Bitcoin forum that it would be ideal if a solution could be found to the Bitcoin transparency problem. And I'd love to get into more detail there maybe a bit later on. But yes, Satoshi did say zero knowledge would improve Bitcoin. Um, and I think Zuko was the first person to write a blog about Bitcoin. Um, I haven't seen this blog. I'd love to read it one day. Um, but yeah, I think Satoshi also did make reference to another one of the Zcash engineers work on uh, on stealth addresses. I think Satoshi mentioned something about what DeroHop was doing. Um, to answer your second question about like privacy coins, some of the other coins, like how does Zcash compare to, let's say, Monero or some of the newer projects that are coming out? It's a really good one. Um, and yeah, just to kind of explain why Zcash is still probably the most advanced privacy solution uh, on chain, like across the entire space. It's because of Zcash Orchard. So this is what's going to be integrated to Brave Wallet sometime in the next couple of months. And so I was talking about the different shielded pools that Zcash came up with over the years. And so the first pool was Sprout. And actually, to set up a zero knowledge proof system, it requires the generation of a long key. Okay, it's like you can think of it as like a very long password. And this password, uh, actually, if someone had the full thing, if someone had the full key, they would be able to counterfeit uh, like coins. Okay, and so this is a process known as trusted setup, and it involves like it's a multi-party computation. It's a way to for many people to generate this key in the hopes that because so many people have been involved, that none of them will collude and recreate this key together and counterfeit coins and profit. So during the first Sprout launch, 2016, Zuko and Peter van Valkenburg and Edward Snowden and I think Andrew Miller as well, like a bunch of privacy advocates got together and were involved in this ceremony. And this happened again in 2018 on a much larger scale. I think there are like 100 participants in the trusted setup ceremony. But the key thing is that um, ECC, the engineers, actually developed, they were working very hard over the years, and they developed a way to generate a zero knowledge proof system which didn't require this ceremony. It didn't need for people to trust in all of these people to generate this key. And most of the other ZK privacy or ZK rollup um, projects actually still require a trusted setup ceremony. And so Zcash is like way ahead of its time in terms of security of its monetary soundness. Um, I guess at the moment it doesn't seem like it's too much of a big deal. But if you think about, you know, are you going to leave some money to your children's children or whatever? You kind of need to trust that nothing can get in, like it's a security thing. I think yeah. I think Jenny's got a hand up.
Oh no, I think it was Godson. Go ahead, Godson, and then I can pop in with another one.
Yeah, I just had a question, and I'm not sure if it's like true or if it's like a myth. But is it true that like the ZK project is so like private and secure that we don't even know like how many coins there are? Like you know how you can just like track everybody's coins and make a sum or whatever. Like it's so private we don't even know. Like it's just like a dark forest completely. Is that true?
A dark forest. Yes and no. So um what's I think actually a good thing about Zcash is that we can verify the supply. So there are many components, like I've said. There is the sprout pool, the sapling pool, and the orchard pool, but there's also the transparent pool. And so Zcash works with a turnstile system. When I send my transparent coins into, let's say, Orchard, um, it will be shown on chain that this address sent this amount into this pool. I can then transact within the Orchard pool with total anonymity. So when I'm transacting within the Orchard pool, nobody knows the addresses, nobody knows the amounts that I'm transacting with. When I then send my coins back out, it will show the amount that's leaving the Orchard pool. So this is a way to track all of the amounts in the different pools. But if you're transacting within the shielded pool, it's complete. That's your dark forest.
Okay, yeah, thanks. That kind of explained it a little bit better.
All right, I'm gonna hop in with a couple things. So we haven't even touched on ZecHub yet, and we only have 10 minutes left. But very quickly, before we get there, I just want to circle back because we kind of derailed, and I know this whole convo has been a little derailed because the technical difficulties and whatever, and all the questions have been great. So like it's no problem. But I wanted to circle back to Zcash and Brave. No, don't apologize. I'm like, I actually love it when the conversation takes different directions than intended. It's perfect. But I want to knock out a few things. So yeah, circling back to Zcash and Brave. So Squirrel already kind of touched on this, but I just want to double down and mention that Brave has already integrated support for transparent Zcash transactions in the Brave wallet. And this is currently live in the nightly version of the Brave browser, which is the testing and development build of our browser. You can download it at brave.com/download-nightly, I think. It's not the most stable because it's still, features that are in testing and then will eventually ride the release trains to the official release version, but you can test it out now. But yeah, also as Squirrel kind of hinted, private or shielded Zcash transactions will be live in the Brave wallet sometime in the summer. So there will be both. And I just wanted, I know like this was kind of explained in a broader context, but Squirrel, with all of the context in mind, could you please explain, like, in the context of, sending or transacting, with the wallet, what is the difference between transparent and private or shielded Zcash transactions? Just very practical sort of explanation.
That's the most important question of this entire thing. Thank you, Jenny. And I think also just to mention, you mentioned the Brave Nightly release of the Zcash wallet. I would actually recommend for people to test Zcash out on a Zcash wallet for the time being. So you can go to z.cash/wallets, just because you can deposit your funds into the Brave Nightly wallet, but I don't think you're able to withdraw them yet. Um, So yeah, check it out on the Zcash wallet. We have shielded transactions, and you can kind of get an understanding of what's happening um, if you get a Zcash wallet for the time being. Um, what's the difference between transparent transactions and shielded transactions? So of course, yeah, Zcash does have transparent transactions. If you're interacting with an exchange or any other kind of organization or business which needs to have like full auditability, yes, you can do normal Bitcoin-like transactions. So you can go onto a block explorer and you can enter your address and you can see a full record of all the funds you've received and all the funds you've sent. So shielded transactions, um, the only difference, like in when you're making a transaction with a Zcash wallet, it's just the same as if you're using an Ethereum wallet to send a transaction, or just the same as if you're using a Solana wallet. The only difference is that when you then enter the transaction ID into a block explorer, it doesn't reveal how much someone's been receiving or sending. Um, if you try, like, if you enter an address, it doesn't show you how much funds they've received or sent. And I would actually encourage people to test this out. Um, when you think of your bank account, that's private. Okay, so I don't know how much any of you have in your bank account because I shouldn't, and someone in North Korea probably shouldn't. I don't want to turn this meeting too dark, but I mean there are very like scary things that can happen when people are targeted. Let's say, in fact, I was checking the basic attention token on Etherscan yesterday, and I saw someone using their ETH domain, and they had a fairly large amount of BAT, and I saw the exchange. And so, if a criminal were to see such information, someone can be targeted. And in fact, I do believe that last year was like the largest amount of exploits were carried out last year. And so this is a very important social issue that people need to be aware of. Yes, protect your internet, your browsing history via using Brave. Yes, Drew.
No, no, keep going, keep going. I'll jump in when you're done.
Okay. Yeah. Just like the final thing is, everyone should probably be using shielded transactions because your economic activity should not be public. First of all, for your own safety, and also the safety of the people that you're transacting with. It could even be on a national level to protect your countrymen or whatever. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. Like you said, no, not everybody should see everybody else's bank accounts and stuff like that in every transaction that they're doing. Um, but quick question, going back to the kind of simple stuff. If I wanted to get started with some Zcash and stuff like that, where would I even start out? Where would I buy some or get some Zcash? What's the easiest way to just get some Zcash to go play with on the wallet?
Yeah. You can go to z.cash/exchanges. It's on Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, every major exchange, Binance. Um, you could even go onto a non-custodial exchange. So sideshift.ai. You could just download a Zcash wallet, get your shielded address, and swap it directly. I believe you could swap BAT for ZEC, and you could swap it from transparent ZEC. You could swap it into shielded ZEC. Completely up to you. And another cool thing that Zcash can do is send encrypted memos. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a completely like monetary transaction. You could send people messages, private messages, um, using your Zcash wallet. And like transaction times, I believe block times are about 70 seconds. So it's equivalent to Ethereum on a bad day. Or yeah, it's fairly quick and it's super cheap, like under 1 cent for a transaction fee. Um, yeah.
And I
Awesome.
believe, I just wanted to quickly insert,
Mhm.
I believe that we may also be looking at support for that in Brave as well. at least I read that in our blog post announcement, although I'm not directly working on it. Maybe Squirrel knows more, but we could always save it for our
That's what
next.
the messaging.
Hmm.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
messaging. Yeah, that does sound cool. Yeah.
yeah, I think there's something Filecoin Foundation and Electric Coin Company are working together on that.
Hmm. But anyway,
Um,
sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead, Drew.
No, that was really just my question, just kind of about getting it, just starting out for somebody, just looking into it. So, yeah, he pretty much answered mine. So, go ahead.
All right, sure. Then I have another one. So how has adoption been for Zcash? Like I think Squirrel, I think the case for shielded transactions, for example, is a really good one, almost a no-brainer for all the reasons that you mentioned. Um, and do you feel that um, the public or crypto users feel the same way? How has adoption been, and have there been any challenges faced around adoption? And if so, how have you been addressing them?
Yeah, good question. And yes, there have been challenges. I think in the past year, privacy coin usage is down. So across all projects, um, people are using privacy less. And I don't think this is a conscious decision by people who are afraid of using privacy coins. I think this is more of a momentum thing. So when Bitcoin came out, people believed that the pseudonymous addresses gave them privacy, and this turned out to be incorrect. But the ball was already rolling, like the train was moving. And when Ethereum was released and had this same problem, this only compounded uh, the problem. So people just kept using transparent blockchains, believing that their transactions were private. And so I think, despite private alternatives existing, they're just not used because the main platforms um, are all transparent. And yeah, I think this is changing fairly slowly. I think Brave is the best example of a project which is actually finding success, right, in providing privacy to people. You guys are actually, walking the walk. There are many projects which claim like, yeah, we can do this, and one day we will do this. But Brave is actually providing this privacy to millions of people. I've been like ruminating on this for some days, and I think it's because Brave, like the user experience for people, um, they first of all, you're not pushing privacy like a big banner over it and like saying use this because it's private. I think it's just a very nice product that works. It's a very good user experience. That's, I think, the best place to start from. Um, and yeah, I think with Zcash becoming available in Brave Wallet, this is also a great step um, to making shielded transactions and privacy accessible for people.
Thank you. Those are really kind words, and I agree. I agree regarding the integration and the partnership between Zcash and Brave. And yeah, I would agree that I think Brave just tries to create a wonderful product that's easy to use, that protects your privacy and provides all these other benefits without you necessarily noticing, or without them needing to be super in your face. Brave is, oh my goodness, sorry, I keep getting calls. Sorry about that. Um, and yeah, we do really try to walk the walk. And it took us a while to get here. The browser first launched in its first form, and I think it was late 2015. And it took us some time to get to the point that we're at now in 2024, where we've got 67 million monthly active users and growing every month. And whenever we ship something new, we do pass it through some pretty intense privacy and security reviews to make sure that what we offer users is really what we say we're giving you, and we're not just spouting hot air. So yeah, thank you for showing love and appreciation. And I know we're over time, and I feel so bad because we wasted so much at the beginning with the tech difficulties. But let's take a couple more minutes because I really want to just quickly dive into ZecHub and have you tell us a little bit about what it is, what's currently going on there, what y'all are working on, and and then maybe a little bit about the ZCub or the DAO.
Yeah.
I can't quite recall the name, and then what's going on with the DAO.
Yeah, thank you. So very similar to what Brave does. Um, like we were saying, Brave does what it says, right? And it's actually bootstrapping a lot of crypto usage by giving people these BAT rewards. And so, very similarly, what ZecHub is doing is we're providing rewards, so shielded Zcash rewards for people who contribute to Zcash education. So you can go onto zechub.wiki, you can join our Discord, you can go onto discord.gg/Zcash, join the community, and like if you're a talented developer or if you're good at graphic design, you can submit work and we will pay you in Zcash. Um, I think there are some differences. So I was reading the basic attention token white paper, and I was reading about like the attention marketplace and how like what you guys are doing is paying people. So I think it's kind of creating a new vision where um, instead of people just being used as like you give them your data and they will take it and sell it to other people so that other people can give you ads so that you click on the ads and like it's just I think that's kind of like a system where people are just being used and other people are making money. I think that what Brave does is actually bring people into the loop and actually give them like financial rewards for their data, and a key part of this is privacy. And so the same can be true for people's financial activity. If you choose to reveal financial data, you can get rewarded. Um, that's like a future thing that Zcash could do. Um, yeah, so got a
Yeah,
bit
can I
sidelined
just
there.
can I insert for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick correction that we're actually we're not rewarding people for their data. We're specifically rewarding them for their attention. Brave doesn't collect any data on users whatsoever, ever, even if they opt in to seeing our privacy respecting ads. Um, Especially if they opt into seeing our privacy respecting ads. The way that the ad matching works in Brave doesn't need to collect any data from you in order to match you with relevant offers. What happens is if you opt in to seeing ads in Brave, your browser will download, the latest version of our ad catalog. Very small file, doesn't take up any space. And as you browse, locally running machine learning algorithms on the browser, on the client, will match relevant offers from our catalog to you. And then you earn BAT for seeing those offers. And so, yeah, we never need to know anything about you. We don't ever collect your data. Don't send it anywhere. We don't touch it, period. So I just want to make that quick correction because it's
Oh,
an
thank you.
important distinction.
That's very correct. And I think it's actually a zero knowledge system. It was mentioned in the white paper that this is
In
it's actually, yeah.
I think it's changed from what was originally written in the white paper, but we can pull up some documentation on that and share it here for anyone who's interested in diving into the tech details.
Yeah, I'd love to. Um, yeah, just to continue about ZecHub. So, yes, we provide people Zcash rewards for their like contributions to the project, and you're also able, like at the moment, anyone can ask for a project. So there's like a couple of people we've got in the meeting. If anyone's interested in like a Brave related project, you can make a proposal to our DAO, and the members will vote on it, and if it passes, then we will make that education project for you, for the community.
Love that so much. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Um,
much for, yeah, sorry, is there anything else you want to add? Please go on.
no, no, it's okay.
Okay. Well, awesome. I have a bunch of more questions for you all, but I do want to respect everybody's time, and I know we're over. So here's what I'm going to suggest. Um, First of all, we have a bigger announcement coming with Zcash sometime this summer, like we mentioned earlier. We will have shielded Zcash transactions in the Brave wallet supported. And we may continue to work with them on other stuff in the future. But also, just because half of our space got used up by technical problems today, I would love to have you all back to talk more about some of the cool things you guys are doing um, and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, I'll turn it to you. Do you have any last words? Anything you'd like to impart before we hop off today? Um,
Yeah,
s-
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Everyone, all the Zcashers who are in here, go to the Brave Discord server because it's like really fun. I've been hanging out there for the past couple of weeks, and they've got like events happening. I think there's like quizzes on Fridays, and there's like they do rewards, airdrops, and stuff. So yeah, definitely join the Brave server.
Thank you. Oh my
We-
gosh.
Yeah, thanks.
Um,
And we haven't enjoyed having you in there, Squirrel. You've been great.
Yeah, yeah. So just to provide a little more detail, I think we talked about it a little bit right before we hopped on to the Brave Talk. But yeah, we have trivia every Friday, led by one of the Daves in Bat Brigade. And if you answer uh, quickly and correctly, you win bat prizes. We also have Jackbox games every weekend. We have Brawlhalla events. We have weekly poker, all kinds of games where you can always win bat prizes. So yeah, just want to mention that. Hop in there. And if we have any developers from the back community who want to get in to the ZecHub, get over there. And then you all must have a Discord too, right?
Yeah, discord.gg/Zcash.
Fantastic. So get in there, Bat community. Oh, and then everybody go to the Bat Brigade to get the POAP today if you're into that. If you're into documenting your digital journeys. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Squirrel. Thank you, Decentralist Dan. I'm sorry that it was a little shaky, but it was a really interesting and enlightening discussion. Let's definitely get together again, whether on Brave Talk or Twitter Spaces or wherever. We do have stuff coming up in the summer that we'll probably want to get together and promote. And in the meantime, if we want to do something before then, let's do. Thanks all. Oh, Godson, come on up.
Awesome.
Was that a question or?
No, sorry, that
Or-
was a mistake. I mistakenly hit two buttons. I'm like broadcasting and doing all this stuff. So thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. All right. Thank
But
you, everyone.
let me say,
Yeah.
Brave Talk 1, Twitter space 0.
Yes.
True.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Throw down some emoji reacts for our panelists and guests today. Once again, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Squirrel. Thank you, Black community members. Thank you, ZecHub community members, Zcash community members. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday and fabulous weekend. And remember, everybody, it's all gravy, baby. Take it easy.
Thank you so
Bye,
much, guys.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.